really just happen moments on air. And hey, you've been a part of it. You've had us in your home, your truck, your tractor, maybe even singing along in the shower. Don't worry, we won't judge. Now, we'd love to hear your CKRM memory. Did you win a prize? Meet one of our announcers. Called in and requested a favorite song? Tell us about it. Just leave us a voicemail or shout out a big Happy 100 CKRM. Here's the number, 306-546-6230. That's 306-546-6230. Or drop us a note anytime at 620ckrm.com. 620CKRM, turning 100 years young, still making memories, and still having fun.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for the Water Warehouse. Water concerns in Regina or on the farm? Visit Water Warehouse, the water solution experts, 1540 Park Street or waterwarehouseregina.com. Today, cloudy with some isolated flurries and a high of +2. Tonight, mostly cloudy with any evening flurries diminishing and a low of -5. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high of +1. On Thursday, becoming mainly cloudy with a high falling to -10. Friday, becoming partly sunny and a high of -10. And on Saturday, partly sunny with a high of -6. Normals for the period are a high of -11 and a low of -23. At this hour in Saskatoon, it's 2, Swift Current is 3, Assiniboia 3, Broadview Moosomin 0, Yorkton Melville 2, Estevan 2, and Weyburn is also 2. Right now in Moose Jaw, it's mostly sunny. Winds are from the northwest at 39, gusting to 52, and it's 4 degrees. Regina is also mostly sunny. Winds are from the northwest at 27, and it's 1 degree. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
Hey, it's Barney Shinkaruk from the Sports Cage. We have a lot of fun, like when old Rider players show up, especially Scott Schultz.
I mean, his feelings are hurt. You know, he's one of those guys.
He's offended. You might as well use
he's
offended.
Offended. I mean, someone didn't tell him it was a business, but, you know, that's fine.
His parents are calling.
That's right. His parents have been in deep conversations with the GM. I don't know what's happening with our young gentleman here.
It's the Sports Cage, 3 to 6 on 620 CKRM, available on all streams and through sportscage.com on our YouTube channel.
SaskToday.ca is your local news source, proudly serving communities all across Saskatchewan. Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground focusing on local topics that matter to you. From agriculture, local community news, sports, and more. Find it all at SaskToday.ca. Sign up for our daily news digest at SaskToday.ca. From Harvard Media, everywhere. Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
And a good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show here at Prairieland Park in Saskatoon. I'm Ryan Young alongside Doug Falconer, the Agriculture Director at GX94 in Yorkton. Doug, how were the roads coming into Saskatoon?
Well, they were wet from Yorkton to Saskatoon, quite wet. There was no ice, so that was a great thing to not have to worry about. Just a lot of splatter on the windshield, of course, with it being a single-lane highway all the way from Yorkton to Saskatoon. How about the drive from Regina?
The drive to Regina was pretty good. Kind of the same deal where we had some rain in some spots. It was a little slushy, but the difference being we were on Highway 11, and that's a double-lane road with a speed limit of 110, so we didn't have to worry too much about traffic. Nick and I, we were able to get here with ample time, so a good drive all around, and looking forward to all the things that are happening here at Crop Production Show. We obviously, Doug, we got a lot of things going on, not the least of which Provincial Agriculture Minister David Merritt was at Crop Production Show talking about some funding for crop-related research. And earlier this morning, Doug, you were also at a presentation as well?
Yeah, I went to the New Farm Information's Theatre this morning to listen to a speaker from the Crop Development Centre talking about all of the new varieties that are coming out nowadays for pretty much every crop you could possibly imagine. This doctor was actually working on chickpeas and flax, and those were his main areas of expertise, so a very interesting conversation with him, and I'm sure we probably won't have time for him today, but we'll get it on at one point or another.
Absolutely. We're going to have plenty crop production show related for this week, so stay tuned. We're going to kick things off with the weather here after the break. You're listening to Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Farm Precision Weather is brought to you by Shepherd Realty in Regina, specializing in farm and ranch real estate in Saskatchewan. Call Harry, Justin, or Devin at 352-1866.
620 CKRM on location.
And a good afternoon. Nick Katchmar with you at the Crop Production Show with Claas of America. Pleased to be joined with Terry again, Regional Product Supervisor here in Canada. And Terry, we want to talk about the Jag.
Yes, so in August we released a 1000 Series Jaguar. They come in 4 different models. So we've got the 1080, the 1090, the 1100, and the 1200, ranging from horsepower of 850 up to 1110. Lots of new features, bigger cab, quieter cab, heavier bearings, bigger throughput area, chopping for more throughput on the machine. We also have water sharpening, so when you're in drier conditions, you can turn the water on and keep those sparks from getting any of the dry material too hot. So
come on down and talk to all the experts here with Claas of America at the Crop Production Show today, tomorrow, and Thursday here at Prairieland Park in Saskatoon.
When gambling online, you could bet local with Play Now or bet on my illegal gambling site instead. Because then I can spend your money on things like a jazz band to emphasize everything I say, instead of things that actually benefit Saskatchewan.
Play on Play Now instead. Saskatchewan's only local, legal, and secure gambling site operated by SIGA. Sign up and choose a welcome bonus up to $250. Conditions apply. Must be 19 plus to play. Use your game sense.
Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Glad you could join us here at Prairieland Park. Here is Phil Spivak with today's weather forecast. To say the least, it's looking pretty good.
We've got a couple of nice days here in store. Very mild conditions with temperatures above freezing already coming out of the morning into the early afternoon. Not a whole lot more warming to do, but positive numbers either way, 2-3 degrees for the Regina area, Yorkton, and Saskatoon, all seeing these positive numbers. And even the night times, not that cold, falling off to around -5 tonight from Regina to Saskatoon. A little cooler in Yorkton, better chance for a couple of flurries there as well with a low of -11. This ridge of high pressure is in control, and it's really got things locked into the warm readings. The reason we've got a little more cloud cover east across eastern portions of the province and especially into Manitoba, that's where the active storm track is on the northern side of this ridge. Still warm, but the storm systems that come around the ridge bring a little extra cloudiness, bring a little snow at times across areas to the east. Watching the next storm in particular, the one coming in on Thursday, it's going to produce the most significant snowfall across Manitoba, central and to eastern sections especially. Very windy, though, for the region as a whole. We could see gusts starting late Wednesday night, but especially through later Thursday, 70 to even 80 kilometers per hour at times. This is going to be a transition from the very warm air to a very brief shot of cold air. We're going to see temperatures falling starting Thursday afternoon, bottoming out on Friday, and then coming right back up. But with that transition, some snow. Not likely much tonight or tomorrow. A couple of flurries in the Yorkton area down to -11, otherwise -5 for most of us. 1 degree on Wednesday across the region as a whole. Thursday will come up just short of the freezing mark in Regina. Saskatoon could crack it, but then slowly falling. Yorkton already falling by the time we get into the day. Light snow there, 1 to 2 centimeters for most of the region. Even lower into Saskatoon, while it's a little bit higher across western Manitoba because the core is farther east, but the wind gets everybody. We get into that cold air, -10 or so Friday, falling still Yorkton area, -18. But then right back up, we'll make a run at freezing once again for the Regina area, for Saskatoon getting up to near or just below freezing, Yorkton -6. But partly sunny. Watch for some snow to come in later in the day. This time, 3 to 5 centimeters for most areas as temperatures start to slowly back down toward average.
Thank you, Phil. That's Phil Spivak from Precision Weather. Temperatures around the region, the GX94 listening area, that is. The Paw is at -15 degrees. Swan River -9. Dauphin -6. Brandon +2. Shoal Lake, Russell, and Roblin are at +1. Regina and Saskatoon at +2 degrees. Hudson Bay 7 degrees. Broadview Moosomin and Indian Header at +1 degree. Wynyard, Wadena, Kelvington +2. The Yorkton-Melville region has a cloudy sky, a west-northwest wind at 22 kilometers per hour. 85% is the relative humidity. The temperature is +2 degrees.
Thank you very much, Doug. Now we'll have a look at the temperatures around the CKRM listening area. In Assiniboia, it's +3. Broadview and Moosomin at 0. Estevan at +2. Over in Saskatoon here, it is 2 degrees, mainly sunny sky with a west-northwest wind at 29 kilometers an hour. In Swift Current, it's 3 degrees as well. Weyburn +2. Yorkton and Melville, 2 degrees. The provincial warm spot for the hours in Maple Creek at 7 degrees, and the cold spot in Stony Rapids at -25. Right now in Moose Jaw, it is mainly sunny with a west-northwest wind at 31 to 42 kilometers an hour, temperature at 4 degrees. Here in Regina, it is, or rather here in Regina, pardon me, I'm in Saskatoon, I'm geographically challenged. In Regina, it's mainly clear with a west-northwest wind at 25 kilometers an hour, and the temperature is at -1.
And as for yesterday's data in the GX94 listening area, Yorkton reached a high of +5 degrees and dropped to a low of -8 degrees. There was a trace of rain that fell in the 24-hour period ending at midnight last night. The normal high for this date is -13 degrees, the normal low -24 degrees. The sun rose in Yorkton at 8:49 this morning, and it will set at 5:09 this afternoon. Extreme temperatures for Manitoba and Saskatchewan yesterday. The Manitoba hotspot was McCreary at +7 degrees. The cold spot was Tadouli Lake at -24 degrees. The Saskatchewan hotspot yesterday was Maple Creek. They got up to +12 degrees. The cold spot was Collins Bay at -18 degrees. And that's a look at your agriculture weather.
Sask Ag Today is brought to you by Johnston's Grain, your first and last stop for grain pricing and crop protection.
Johnston's Logistics. That's the name for your truck freight forwarding needs. They offer you the best quotes in the industry on bulk hopper, deck, van, and reefer shipping within Canada and into the United States. Next time you're looking for a freight rate to haul grain or fertilizer, think Johnston's. Next time you're looking for a rate to move a piece of machinery, think Johnston's. Next time you're looking to move van or reefer cargo, you know the name, Johnston's. For a highly competitive quote, call 844-324-7778.
620 CKRM on location.
And hello once again from the Crop Production Show in Saskatoon here in Hall D at Prairieland Park. Stop on by and say hi to the great crew here with Claws of America. Terry joining me again. And Terry, there's so many things we can touch on. Of course, you have the Xerion here. You have the Lexion Combine. Is there anything you'd like to talk about in particular this go-around?
Yeah, so we have a new model of Lexion coming out. So we have an 8500. So that's just a little bit the next size down from the 86, and then we have the 8700, the 88, and the 8900. So full range for all the different size farms out there, as well as we still have our 7000 series combines as well for, I said, maybe the that 2,000 acre farm.
And it makes a difference being able to see the equipment up close and personal here at the Crop Production Show. So make sure to stop by and see the great crew here with Claws. Anything else right now, Terry?
Yeah, just come on by and let's have a conversation, see what we can figure out. So
on the go until Thursday here with Claws of America.
Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
Welcome back, everyone, to the program. Hopefully you're enjoying it so far. Prime Minister Mark Carney won't be alone when he visits China this week. Premier Scott Moe is joining Carney to talk trade, agriculture, and security with Chinese government and business officials. Provincial Agriculture Minister David Merritt was asked about his expectations for the meetings from Chief Agricultural Editor of SaskAgToday.com, Kevin Hirsch, this morning.
I guess everyone's wondering how high our expectations should be with Premier Mo and the Prime Minister in China this week looking for a solution to the tariff issue. How optimistic should we be? What should our expectations be?
You know, I honestly don't know, Kevin. I would be very, very hopeful that, for the Prime Minister to call the Premier again and ask him to come along. The Premier was there just a few months ago, really, and to be asked to go back again, my optimism would probably be on the higher end now that there's going to be some resolve, if not immediate, probably in the very near future. I would have to think for the Prime Minister to be going that they probably think that there's some end to this, and I would hope that there would be. I would hope that I'm sure our Premier is going to be having the full discussion about, the canola tariffs and the tariffs and the pea tariffs that we're having is the important for the food supply chain and everything and the impact it's having, not only here to the producers, but for the food that they do also need in China. So I am probably more on the higher end optimistic side that there's going to be some resolve in the short term.
Is it reasonable to be optimistic unless Canada can make some movement on the EV tariffs?
That one I think is a question that I don't know if I could really answer, Kevin. I don't know enough around the dynamics around that side of it and what impact it would have, obviously, to our neighbor to the south as well. So all I can be hopeful for is that our Premier will really try and relate to the Chinese government the importance of getting the food chain back in line and getting the supply chain and the canola movement back into China.
Merritt says it would be ideal if the tariffs on canola oil, meal, seed, as well as peas and other products were lifted before seeding starts in the spring.
I think it's important to have them lifted as soon as we can, and if we get it done before spring, it would be that would be good. It's obviously something we really do need. It's going to have an impact on a lot of the crush side. It's going to have an impact, obviously, on the market, and it'll also have an impact on what farmers decide to put into the ground as well.
Canola prices have been affected since the tariffs were implemented last year, and Merritt says crush capacity is not full at the moment. The tariffs will remain a top priority for Merritt this year. Up next on the program is Ag Review with Doug Falconer following our next break here, and following that is plenty more from Western Canadian Crop Production Show. We'll have a little bit of news and details on crop research funding that was announced this morning. You're listening to Sask Ag Today, live from Western Canadian Crop Production Show at Prairieland Park in Saskatoon. Today's Ag Review with Doug Falconer of GX94 is brought to you by Karst Holdings in Assiniboia and Schlamps Integra Tire in Grenfell, your locally owned Integra Tire dealers. And for Milligan Bio and Foam Lake, the leading buyer of heated and damaged canola in Saskatchewan, wants to buy your seed. Visit milliganbio.com.
Saskatchewan winters don't mess around. Neither should you. He thinks his all seasons can handle it until his car slides past the driveway and into his neighbor's snowman. Yeah, don't be that guy. Head to your locally owned Integra Tire dealer. Get your winter tires and changeover done before the snow takes you for a ride, because winter always wins, unless your tires do first. Trust your locally owned Integra Tire dealers. Karst Holdings Assiniboia and Schlamps Tire Grenfell. Truly local.
Candiac Auction Mart is your locally owned and operated auction mart by a cattle producer for over 50 years. We are also home to the Sheep King, who always makes sure you get top dollar for your sheep and goats. We pride ourselves on having the lowest commission rates around to put more money into our producers' pockets. Sales run every second Friday from January to September and weekly October to December. We would like to thank everyone that trusted us to market their animals in 2025, and we look forward to working with you again in 2026. The first regular sale back will be on January 16th. Give Dawn a call to get booked in.
Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
On today's Ag Review, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe is set to join Prime Minister Mark Carney on a visit to China this week. Moe says they'll be meeting with Chinese officials to discuss the trading relationship between the two countries. That relationship has been rocky as of late. with Saskatchewan feeling the brunt of high Chinese tariffs on canola products that were implemented after Canada tacked 100% tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. Beijing has also imposed duties on other Canadian canola products, peas, pork, and some seafood in response to Canada's levies on Chinese steel and aluminum. Mo had traveled to China in September alongside the federal government to find a path forward to resolve the dispute. He says the next round of meetings will serve to continue building and strengthening the ties between the two countries. Stakeholders say they hope the federal government will replace wheat breeder Richard Cuthbert, who has resigned his position at Agriculture Canada's Research Centre in Swift Current, effective the end of the month. Cuthbert has been at the centre since April 2011 after taking over from well-known breeder Ron DePaul. Sask Wheat Chair Jake Legui said the resignation was a surprise and is a loss for producers. Legui says Canada requires a strong public breeding program, and Sask Wheat has long advocated for openings to be filled. The Wheat Growers Association also says it's worried Cuthbert's departure is a sign of things to come as Agriculture Canada is forced to make cuts. Executive Director Darcy Pollock said Cuthbert was one of our best and brightest wheat breeders who all of Western Canadian farmers really rely on for the genetics that get planted every year. The Canadian Grain Commission, or CGC, has issued some licenses, while others are no longer in effect. So far in 2025, the CGC has provided 3 licenses. 2 belong to an Alberta company. Westlock Terminals in Westlock received 2 licenses on January 1st. A Saskatchewan grain handler also received a license on January 1st. Direct Grain Limited, which now operates the former Bungie elevator in Dixon, Saskatchewan, got its primary elevator designation. As of January 9th, licenses at a Manitoba and a Saskatchewan grain handler are no longer held. CHS Inc. in Winkler, Manitoba no longer has its primary elevator license as of January 9th, and Lower Burn, Saskatchewan Sask Valley Processors, which specializes in seed cleaning, dehulling, splitting, and more, doesn't have its processor elevator license as of January 1st. Corn ending stocks in the United States for 2025-26 will be much larger than earlier expectations, according to updated supply and demand tables from the U.S. Department of Agriculture released yesterday. World corn stock projections were also raised. U.S. soybean and wheat stocks projections were also higher on the month. Global corn ending stocks for 2025-26 were up sharply from December at 290.91 million metric tons. Average trade estimates had called for only minor adjustments from the December estimate of 279.15 million metric tons. World soybean ending stocks were raised to 124.41 million tons from 122.37 million in December. The projected world wheat carryout was up by 3.38 million metric tons from December at 278.25 million tons. The USDA data influences global agriculture futures markets, which spills into Canadian cash prices. Canadian National Railway on Monday said it filed a motion with the U.S. Surface Transportation Board that asks the agency to order Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern to disclose more details on their proposed merger. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern submitted a nearly 7,000-page merger application to the board in December, kicking off a regulatory review of what would be one of the rail industry's most significant transactions in decades. The $85 billion U.S. deal, announced in July, is aimed at speeding shipments by reducing handoffs and delays and would create the first U.S. coast-to-coast railroad. The proposal has drawn criticism from labor unions and rival railroads. CN said the applicants did not fully detail their assessment of the merger's competitive impact, citing incomplete market analyses, missing required market share projections, and other gaps in the filing. And Sask Ag Today is always available on podcast. Listen to past shows whenever you want. Find them easily by going to gx94radio.com. Also, you can hear the podcast on your Amazon Echo. Just enable the GX94 skill and choose Sask Ag Today. And yes, it's free. And that's the Ag Review segment of our program. Please stay tuned. Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon, will continue right after these messages.
This portion of Sask Ag Today is brought to you by the Capital Automotive Group. Capital's 100K giveaway is back. See capital100k.ca for more information. And for Steffes Auctioneers, selling land and the equipment to farm it. Find out more at steffesgroup.com.
620 CKRM on location.
With you one final time with Claws of America here at the Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. And Terry, take us inside the combine. Talk about some of the great features you have with Claws.
Yeah, so we have our hybrid machine here, so conventional threshing up front and twin rotors in the back for separation. Belt drive, so belt driving is the most efficient transfer of power, so we get better fuel economy out of our machines and just more longevity, right? I'd rather change a belt in harvest than changing a hydraulic pump. So
your combines will get the job done, and of course, before you know it, it will be seeding and then harvest, and you guys are the guys to talk to.
Yeah, so come on down and we can do a little mini walk around and get you familiar with the machine.
Inside Hall D here at Prairieland Park in Saskatoon the next few days here with the Crop Production Show. It's all with Claws of America.
Capital's 100K giveaway is back for 2026. The Capital Automotive Group is giving away $100,000 in cash and prizes with no strings attached. We're proud to be part of communities across Western Canada, and we know it's those communities that allow us to exist. So every once in a while, once a year to be exact, we're going to say thanks by giving away $100,000 in cash and prizes. To learn more and enter to win, check out capital100k.ca. Capital's 100K giveaway. Do not miss it.
Jason here. Selling a farm and land is a very hard decision. I've been fortunate to be trusted for 35 years and have thousands of sales completed. Before you make that choice, I ask that you invite us to the table. Let us show you what we can offer, both online and live auctions at Steffes Auctioneers. If you would like more information, 421-9909. Go to steffesgroup.com. That's STEFFES group.com.
Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
Welcome back to Sask Ag Today. It's time now for the Beef and Forage Report. Chicago cattle futures rose as the USDA raised its forecast for 2026 beef production. Most active March feeder cattle closed at 356.175 cents a pound, up 1.475 cents. April contracts gained 1.4 cents to settle at 354.45 cents a pound. Choice boxed beef was valued at $357.11 per hundredweight on Monday afternoon, and it's up $1.48. Select beef gained $5.88 a pound to surpass choice beef at $358.05 per hundredweight. The USDA raised its forecast for beef production in 2026 to 25,802 million pounds from 25,792 million pounds in December. It said this was based on heavier dressed weights, which it said will more than offset reduced fed cattle slaughter in the second half of the year. The USDA raised its forecast for cattle prices in 2026 based on recent price data and expectations of tighter cattle supplies in the second half of the year. And that's the Beef and Forage Report. Please stay tuned. Sask Ag Today will be back right after this.
Now time for the market update on 620 CKRM.
Out here in southern Saskatchewan, the sun shows up for work every day. Might as well make it earn its keep. That's where Keln Solar comes in. These folks travel all over the province helping people put solar on their homes, farms, and cabins. They're local guys, Sask-born, Sask-raised, and not going anywhere. Except, to your place. Now's the time to start planning for spring and summer 2026 bookings. Give Keln Solar a call and they'll come show you your best options. Keln Solar. They move the power so you don't have to. KelnSolar.com.
The team of experienced farmland real estate agents at Shepherd Realty in Regina have just listed for sale 318 acres near Dilk, 160 acres near Melville, 315 acres near Griffin, and 638 acres with a yard near McCrory. To learn more, see the team at Shepherd Realty. If you're considering selling your farm or ranch property, call 352-1866. shepherdrealty.ca.
Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
And welcome back to the program here at Prairieland Park. We'll start with the grain prices from Bunge, which are up in early trading today. Canola's up $10.40 to $571.42 a metric ton. One red spring wheat is up $1.27 to $251.80, and the rest remain unchanged. Amber durum $274.92, feed barley $213.59, Kabuli chickpeas $595.25, flax $626.04, red lentils $494.50, oats at $158. Large yellow peas, $264.77, and feed wheat at $169.58. Now here are the prices per bushel. Amber durum, $7.48. Feed barley, $4.65. Canola, $12.96. Flax, $15.90. Oats at $2.43. Large yellow peas, $7.10. Feed wheat, $4.61. One red spring wheat at $6.85. Kabuli chickpeas, 27 cents per pound. And red lentils at 22 cents per pound. And those are the prices from Bunge. Doug?
As for the ICE canola futures, March canola is trading at $631.30 this hour. That's up $10.50. May canola trading at $641.20, up $10.40. March Minneapolis wheat trading at $565 3/4. That's unchanged. March Kansas City wheat trading at $5.19 per bushel, down 7 3/4 cents. March Chicago wheat trading at $5.09 per bushel, down 2 1/4 cents. March corn trading at $4.19 1/2, down 2 cents. March soybeans trading at $10.38 1/2. That's down 10 1/2 cents. March oats trading at $2.94 1/2. That's up 1 cent. And that's the commodities update.
Now the livestock report for Weyburn Livestock Auction. Call Weyburn Livestock at 842-4574.
This is Roy Rutledge at the Weyburn Livestock Exchange. Last Friday, we had a bred heifer sale for Bar C Cattle Company, good black heifers. They sold between $5,200 and $5,600. Average $5,400 straight through on 138 head. It pays to raise good cattle, consistent prices. Wednesday this week, January 14th, will be a regular sale of cull cows and cull bulls, both of which are high right now. Get them booked in at 842-4574. Then Monday, next week, January 19th, will be our first pre-sorted calf sale of the new year. These calf prices have bounced back again, too, as far as supply and demand goes. They'll stay that way for years. It's that time of year when conventions are going on all over the place right now. There is always some guru there giving their opinion on cattle and the market. Most of the time, those speakers don't own cattle or have much invested. Any auction market operator has a better guess than they do. Lots of cattle booked in for the sale Monday, but there's still room for more. Weyburn Livestock, get them booked in, 842-4574.
Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
And welcome back to the program here. We're going to get into the livestock report now. We'll first hear from the Weyburn Livestock Auction as they have the latest livestock quotes.
This is the market report for the Weyburn Livestock Exchange for the week of January 13th. Our first regular sale will be this Wednesday, January 14th. At our last regular sale, D1 and D2 cows sold from $2.05 to $2.35. D3 cows sold from $1.80 to $2.05. Canner cows sold from $1.50 to $1.80. Heiferettes sold from $2.80 to $3.40. And good butcher bulls sold from $2.10 to $2.50. Our first pre-sorted sale of the year will be on January 19th. It's looking like we'll have a good run of calves, so don't wait to book them in. Call us at 842-4574. This has been Stephanie Daig reporting from the Weyburn Livestock Exchange, the market that gets the cattle and the prices too.
And the latest pork prices from the Brandon and Moose Jaw plants are down $1.44 today to where they sit at $198.67 per CKG. Doug?
U.S. live cattle futures for February are trading at $237.32 this hour. That's up $2.07. April live cattle trading at $238.82, up $2.75. March feeder cattle trading at $361.90, up $5.72. April feeder cattle trading at $360.30, up $5.85. February lean hogs trading at $84.75, up $32. April lean hogs trading at $91.12, up $37. And that's the livestock market conditions.
When the job's tough, your truck should be tougher. At Nelson GM in Assiniboia and Avonlea, our lineup of GMC and Chevrolet trucks is built for Saskatchewan work and weather. From powerful Silverados to hard-working Sierra pickups, you'll get strength, capability, and comfort without the runaround. Whether it's the farm, the job site, or the open highway, Nelson GM trucks deliver. Visit Nelson GM in Assiniboia or Avonlea, where truck country shops.
Don't get caught when the snow starts to fly. It's never too early to start thinking about Degelman's industry-leading bulldozer blades. No two tractor manufacturers are alike, so why would you trust a blade that's one size fits all? Degelman engineers, designs, and individually builds all bulldozer tractor fit-ups to ensure proper mounting locations are the best spot to push from. Protecting your tractor investment, visit the Build-A-Blade feature on Degelman.com for more information. Degelman, engineered tough.
Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
And welcome back as we are here for the first day of the Western Canadian Crop Production Show here in Saskatoon at Prairieland Park. Make sure you come here. The weather conditions are very favorable for coming here especially, so you got no excuse to come here at least once over the next 3 days here. But on to our next story. Crop Research is receiving a total of $9.7 million in funding from the federal and provincial governments, and many commodity groups across Western Canada also contributed additional funds for research projects. Of the $9.7 million from the government, $7.2 million is through the Agriculture Development Fund, or ADF, to support 39 research projects, and $2.5 million through the Strategic Research Initiative to study the long-term management of herbicide-resistant kochia and wild oats. Provincial Agriculture Minister David Merritt was at the Western Development Museum, where the Sask Crops Forum is being held, to make the announcement this morning.
Well, I think really what it does and what we're finding is obviously some new crops and new varieties and some help on the disease side as well. First and foremost, I really got to thank the ADF board, the committee. They go through a lot of projects, probably 200 or 300, and they weed it down to ones that are really important to the farmers and ranchers here in the province of Saskatchewan. So it doesn't come to my desk. I just see the final results. And when you look at the list of the projects that they have approved, it's really some good work. I mean, the one that we just announced, obviously, for kochia and wild oats is going to be a big one that's really impacting this whole province. It really is. And finding finding an end to that one would be, obviously, is going to be a big one. But, I mean, a lot of the small projects, too, are all important, really, from a value-added side. When you see what the research is done here in this province where, I had the privilege of being in Moose Jaw a couple months ago, and I ate a pasta that was made of a lentil flour. And, I mean, that's all research and technology that's happened here in the province of Saskatchewan. And getting the protein and then finding how to use the starches and other products, but really finding the disease side and the tolerance side is important for us if we want to continue to grow the ag sector here in the province of Saskatchewan.
An additional $3.2 million from 13 industry partners across Canada are supporting these projects, including a handful from Saskatchewan. They are Sask Wheat, Sask Barley, Sask Oilseeds, Saskatchewan Pulse Growers, Sask Canary Seed, and Sask Oats. Other groups include Alberta Grains, the Western Grains Research Foundation, and Manitoba Crop Alliance. We'll get into the nitty-gritty details of the ADF funding with regards to one of the study initiatives that will be taking place, but that's on the other side of the break. You're listening to Sask Ag Today from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon.
This portion of Sask Ag Today is brought to you by Degelman Industries. Look to Degelman for the most reliable, dependable, engineered tough equipment on the market.
Manitoba Egg Days happens January 20th through 22nd at the Keystone Centre in Brandon. At Canada's largest indoor farm show, you'll see over 550 exhibitors featuring the latest equipment and products and services on the market today. See the newest innovations to hit the farm. Connect with product reps offering invaluable expertise and advice. Plus, 3 full days of complimentary speakers. Get your tickets now at eggdays.com and don't miss Manitoba Egg Days, where the egg year begins.
Hi everyone, Sean here with Young's Equipment, your MacDon header headquarters in southern Saskatchewan. New or used, red, green or yellow, whatever drives your farm, Young's Equipment has the MacDon header to lead the way. With MacDon's industry-leading Flex Draper technology, an FD Series header ensures your smoothest and most productive harvest yet. No matter your color, Young's has your header. Young's Equipment, leading the way in a thriving agricultural community.
Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
Welcome back to Sask Ag Today. The federal provincial research funding announced today here in Saskatoon includes support under ADF, the Agriculture Development Fund, as well as $2.5 million for a strategic research initiative into the long-term management of herbicide-resistant kochia and wild oats. Dr. Sean Sharp of Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada here in Saskatoon will lead that initiative, and he spoke with SaskAgToday.com Chief Agricultural Editor Kevin Hirsch.
Yeah, so kochia is a weed that I spend a lot of time thinking about. The issue with kochia is ever escalating. We are always starting to detect additional biotypes from different modes of action, and that does include group 14. We're also on the hunt to identify if there's any group 5 resistance, which is a legacy of atrazine use in corn in the south. I'm worried about that coming up too. So there are some things we're looking at. Where kochia is a tumbleweed, it is very challenging to manage because it's not just a weed in the agricultural fields, it's also on the margins, it's in the neighbors' fields. If there's any areas that are uncropped, it can be there as well. And it has a high propensity to tumble because of the wind that we have here, so it makes it very, very challenging for growers to try to manage.
So will you be looking at other chemistries or just other cultural methods of control?
That's a good question. For this project, where I am a public servant, part of Ag Canada, we won't be evaluating chemistry per se, but we will be evaluating the integration of chemistry with cultural measures as well as other non-chemical measures. We have some work with conversion for perennial forages. There's work to identify other cultural controls such as competitive cultivars and varieties, to use those, as well as different rates of seeding. So there's a lot of different ideas that we have going on, and with this project, I have been as collaborative as I have been able to, and we have brought in thought ideas from all of the prairie researchers who work on weeds. So it's not just me, even though I'm up in front of you, it's a collective with a strong background in research who have put these ideas forward that we have all come together on.
From a scientific point of view, why is kochia such a hard weed to control? We know it blows around and the seeds go all over the place, but how is it so adaptable, A, to its surroundings, and then B, to the herbicides?
Yeah, kochia is very resilient to stress in general. They have found it in remediated mines in the south. It's very adapted to stress. So it will thrive in areas where it's quite saline. So it already has all of these mechanisms in place in order to be able to adapt and grow in those environments. It's also a very heavy seed producer. It can produce up to 10,000 seeds per plant, and we have been doing over that actually. And what I think is very problematic is its patch forming, which means that with the kochia, it's establishing at high densities in certain parts of the field, whereas in other parts it's very low density because it may have had a tumbleweed blow through and their seed dropped, but in these patches, the plants, we have counted them up to 10,000 plants per square meter. So when you're trying to kill things with herbicides, maybe we should skip those patches, or maybe there's an alternative approach that can be done to take the pressure off the herbicides just in those areas. So that's just an example of kind of where this is going.
So the patches then, maybe tillage would be an option, or what would be an option in those big patches other than herbicides?
Yeah, so we do have lots of options. If you want to grow additional plants, you can use cover cropping or intercropping in those areas to make sure you have a good plant stand. I've been doing some work. I just had a paper come out very recently on using mulches on farm. We used kochia straw and wheat straw primarily to bury it. It doesn't tolerate burial, so in those areas there was a lot less plants coming through the straw. You can mow. It's a bit more challenging if you want to have a crop there, but if you're not going to get a crop anyway, then maybe mowing early season is a good option. There's conversion of that land if it's not being productive. Maybe it'll grow food for cows or something else, or be a refuge for pollinators. So there are other options for that land. We don't necessarily have to farm every square acre or every quarter to its full extent. We can take those marginal areas out of production if they're only going to produce kochia.
Also involved with the initiative are the universities of Saskatchewan, Regina, and Manitoba, as well as the National Research Council. $730,000 of the funding for this project comes from Sask Wheat, Saskatchewan Pulse Growers, Sask Barley, Results Driven Agriculture Research, and Alberta Grains. And please stay tuned. Sask Ag Today will continue live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon in a moment.
Hey, it's Barney Shinkaruk from the Sports Cage. We have a lot of fun, like when old Rider players show up, especially Scott Schultz.
Let's not forget, desperation is a stinky cologne, and you could smell the desperation.
Curtis, could you make up a quick graphic of that? Maybe Bo Levi. Let's do black and white. I want an underwear like a Calvin Klein shot.
It's the Sports Cage each weekday, 3 to 6 on 620 CKRM and streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com.
Every Sunday morning, wake up to country music legends on 620 CKRM. Sunday Morning Classics. Celebrate the legends that paved the way and define the heart and soul of country music. Relive the unforgettable classic hits and the legacy of country's greatest artists. Join us this Sunday and every Sunday as we honor the icons who brought country music to life. It's a journey through the rich history of country music. Sunday Morning Classics. Sundays at 8 a.m. on the Voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
Sask Ag Today, live from the Western Canadian Crop Production Show in Saskatoon. Here's your hosts, Ryan Young and Doug Falconer.
And welcome back, and now it's time for the Resource Report. Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to meet with coastal First Nations today to discuss major projects and marine conservation. He'll be bringing along Natural Resources Minister Tim Hodgson, whose relationship with coastal First Nations got off to a rocky start. Hodgson was forced to apologize after quipping in a television interview that he could have met Alliance members via Zoom. Coastal First Nations President Marilyn Slett has been an outspoken critic of the recent energy agreement signed between Alberta and Ottawa, including the potential to end the tanker ban moratorium. Later today, Carney will fly to China for high-level meetings on trade and security issues, and Premier Scott Moe will be joining him as well. A new report from Rentals.ca and Urban Nation has found asking rents in Canada fell every month last year compared to the year before. It says average asking rents went down 3.1% in 2025 from 2024, an annual drop that was larger than what was seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. Urban Nation President Sean Hildebrand says the demand and supply factors that pushed rents higher between 2022 and 2024 reversed in 2025. Asking rents in Canada fell 2.3% year over year in December to an average of $2,060, which is still 14.1% higher than the pre-pandemic levels in December of 2019. Moving over to the markets now. The TSX up 31 points to 32,905. The Dow is down 296 points to 49,293. Oil is up $1.65 to $60.97 per barrel, and the loonie is at 72 cents U.S. And that's the Resource Report. If you missed any segment of the show, you can tune in to the Sask Ag Today podcast. You can find it on saskagtoday.com under the Crop Talk section. And be sure to sign up for the Sask Ag Today newsletter. We got stickers here dedicated to the newsletter here. If you come by our booth here at Crop Production Show, I believe we are in Hall D, if my memory serves me well. If you were here last year and saw us, we're in the exact same spot as we were the previous year, right by the concession stand area. And that is going to do it for today's edition of the program. On behalf of Doug Falconer, I'm Ryan Young. Glad you could tune in, and have a nice day.
We are 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station. Thanks for tuning in to Sask Ag Today with Ryan Young. If you missed any of the broadcast, listen to our podcast on saskagtoday.com. Sask Ag Today, following the 12 o'clock news on your voice of everything ag. 620 CKRM.
It's 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the sasktoday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news for 2